How y'all doing? I'm the Watchman, and this is definitely a warning to all of my fellow Adventists and all of my fellow Christians. Anyone who loves God and is earnestly striving to do His will. Uh, God has revealed to me something of the utmost, and I am transparent with y'all. I mean, I will be open and honest with y'all. I hesitated on doing this part two on what God further showed me, uh, and God woke me up in a mighty way and told me I needed and to do His will and to do what He told me. There is no putting off, and I'm gonna just get straight to it. For those of y'all who saw my other video where I said warning to Adventists and other Christians, I'd let you know about a vision I had. It wasn't even a dream. I was wide awake and I was in the middle of prayer. And just to sum it up, I had a vision. Uh, that a woman, I was taken to heaven, and a woman was standing outside the temple on the steps. She was not in the temple, but she was standing outside the temple, and she bit me twice, boom, on my arm and on my neck, real quick. And I asked the Lord, what did that mean? And instantly the answer was to me that I represented His children, and at Babylon, she was representative of Babylon, the great whore who be drunk with the blood of the martyrs. So from that, I automatically took that persecution on a high level is soon to start worldwide, because it has already began in a lot of Muslim countries, as we know. And then I immediately looked and I saw a man with a dark cloak on and a big witch's pot, and he was stirring, and he looked up at me and he went back to stirring, and he poured this dark mist, this dark green mist or cloud. He poured out onto the steps of the temple, and I saw multitudes of people that were like this big. The people were real small, but it was multitudes of them, and he poured this mist onto the people, and I tried to stop it, and the voice said to me, it is not for me to stop. It is not for me to stop. So I pulled back my arm, and I immediately, the vision stopped, and I have been praying about it. But anyway, and concerning the spiritual formation and, contemplative prayer, and basically, which is Eastern mysticism, I had had that vision a couple days before that, and I knew that my dream had meant probation was about to close, meaning the book of life was about to shut. But Lord even let me know on a deeper level, uh, just the other day, while I was camping, He let me know on a deeper level what my dream really meant. And I was called to show it even this morning, and I put it off, and God woke me up. When I say God woke me up, y'all, out of my sleep, I've been awake for about 15-20 minutes now. God woke me up in an incredible way, and I'm very humble because this really means that God loves me, and He's here with me, and you know, the Lord says He chastises those whom He loves. He chastises those whom He loves. This is so important. I can't even answer the phone right now. I'm going to get through what I'm about to share with y'all. He let me know, especially for all my Adventists know who Ellen White is. She had a vision of Jesus leaving. See, right now, Jesus is interceding for mankind. He is judging the dead and the living. He is interceding for us in the most holy place in front of the throne of God as our high priest. If you not understand what I'm talking about, then learn the high priest role in the sanctuary, in the old school tabernacle, Old Testament tabernacle. Learn the role of the high priest, and you will understand what Jesus is doing for us right now. But anyway, I came across a vision that she had when I was preparing for another sermon. I was preparing for a totally different sermon, and I came across this vision, and it spoke to me on the vision that God gave me about this witch in this pot, in this dark mist that is poured upon the people, this multitude that we saw trying to enter into the temple. But anyway, she writes this, and this is in Early Writings, Ellen White, Early Writings, page 280, paragraph 2, and it says, As Jesus moved out of the most holy place, I heard the tinkling of the bells upon his garment, and as he left, a cloud of darkness covered the inhabitants of the earth. Remember that dark mist I said I saw come out of this witch's pot? Uh, but a cloud of darkness covered the inhabitants of the earth. There was then no mediator between guilty man and an offended God. Let me say that again. There was then no mediator between guilty man and an offended God. While Jesus had been standing between God and guilty man, a restraint was upon the people. But when he stepped out between man and the Father, the restraint was removed and Satan had entire control of the finally impenitent. It was impossible, meaning hard-headed, stubborn, the lost. It was impossible for the plagues to be poured out while Jesus officiated in the sanctuary. But as his work there is finished and his intercession closes, there is nothing to stay the wrath of God, and it breaks with fury upon the shelterless head of the guilty sinner. Remember the multitude who had the dark cloud pour? This that I saw, these the millions of little bitty people that I saw that this witch was pouring this witch's brew out on, they were outside the temple. Those who were in the temple were safe. Let me finish reading. There is nothing to stay the wrath of God, and it breaks with fury upon the shelterless head of the guilty sinner who has slighted salvation and hated reproof. In that fearful time, after the close of Jesus' mediation, the saints were living in the sight of a holy God without an intercessor. Every case was decided, every jewel numbered. Jesus tarried a moment in the outer apartment of the heavenly sanctuary, and the sins which had been confessed while he was in the most holy place were placed upon Satan, the originator of sin, who must suffer their punishment. And all of this is the ritual that the Jews played out in the Old Testament tabernacle for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. And we know there's not a lot of Christians who believe that Jesus is our high priest. Hebrews talks about it. Hebrews goes into detail. Paul goes into detail about Jesus. Even says clearly we have a high priest in heaven. So, beloved, this showed me on a high level. My vision was to warn. You know, when they say be careful what you ask for, I was told to call myself the watchman when I was studying the book of Ezekiel, and I came across Ezekiel 33, and that is what I'm called to do. When I see the evil approaching, I'm supposed to blow the trumpet, blow the horn. I am. And this has been humbling to me, y'all. This was a warning to me, y'all. I could lose my soul also if I'm not watching and if I'm not ready. And what this really literally says, and what God let me know while I was just up camping this past weekend, and I had even went to sleep on it because I worked third shift, and I went to sleep, and then I went to sleep right when I got home from work. I talked to my fiance for a second, and then I laid down and went to sleep, and God woke me up in a mighty way saying, Joshua, what are you doing? Because what this literally is saying, y'all, that judgment has passed from the dead. Jesus' judgment now in front of the Father is on the living. Probation is about to close. It is not going to take him a long time to judge the living. His probation, let me say this again. His probation, his judgment is off of the dead. The dead have been judged already. His judgment is now on the living. On the living. That means probation is about to close, beloved. Look, it took God only 6 days. It took Jesus only 6 days to make the earth. So for him to judge the living, mercy. Probation is about to close. The book of life is about to shut. God just woke me up, y'all. I even reading that, I've been holding back tears, and I'm not the one to cry in front of anyone, but I've been holding back tears. God woke me up in a mighty way to tell me to get up and make this. And then stumbling upon what I just read, y'all, I came across this. We serve an awesome God. He is so loving to even warn us. There is love in warning and reproof. God telling me to get up, to stop stop, cut short all my little pet sins, that I may have, that this is serious business. I have to take him reproof in love that I'm glad he's still with me. So, beloved, let me read to y'all what right from the time I woke up to the 20 minutes I was shown this. I was looking for what I just read, y'all, but I was shown this, and this is in the Great Controversy, page 312. Ellen White says, men cannot with impunity reject the warning which God in mercy sends them. A message was sent from heaven to the world in Noah's day, and their salvation depended upon the manner in which they treated that message. Because they rejected the warning, the Spirit of God was withdrawn from the sinful race, and they perished in the waters of the flood. In the time of Abraham, mercy ceased to plead with the guilty inhabitants of Sodom, and all but Lot with his wife and 2 daughters were consumed by the fire sent down from heaven. So in the days of Christ, the Son of God declared to the unbelieving Jews of that generation, your house is left unto you desolate. Matthew 23:38. Looking down to the last days, the same infinite power declares concerning those who receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For this cause, God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. Remember that dark cloud, that mist that I saw, that was poured upon the multitude that was trying to enter into the temple, who wasn't in the temple already? Believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. This was a wake-up call to me today, this very moment. I am a sinner like you, and God loves me so much. He is so awesome that he's saying, Josh, you can lose your soul too. Break away from your unrighteousness. Stop with your sinning. Warn my people. Y'all, he woke me up saying, what are you doing? I told you to warn my people and you are sleeping. Forgive me, y'all. Y'all should have got this 7 hours ago. Mercy. Let me finish reading. And that's 2 Thessalonians 2:10-12. As they reject the teachings of his word, God withdraws his spirit and leaves them to the deceptions which they love. That's that dark mist that this witch poured upon the people in my vision. That's that dark cloud that Ellen says, I heard the tinkling of his God. As Jesus left the most holy place, a cloud of darkness covered the inhabitants of the earth. There was then no mediator between guilty man and an offended God. She says, but Christ still intercedes in man's behalf, and light will be given to those who seek it. Though this was not at first understood by Adventists, it was afterward made plain, as in the scriptures which define the true position, which began to open unto them. Beloved, I plead with you. We serve an awesome, loving God to even send these warnings. Warnings is out of love. Reproof is love. And I've come to realize that, and I'm just telling you, and I can't say it no more because I'm not telling you. I'm sending to him how grateful I am. He just woke me up over here. He did not have to wake me up. He could have left me in my sins. Probation is now on the living. I know people are going to send me a lot of, you're crazy, Joshua. You don't know what you're talking about. All this nonsense. You can tell me what you tell me, but I will still pray for you. For until you study the role of the high priest in the sanctuary, read Hebrews. I want to say Hebrews 8 or Hebrews 9 is where Paul dedicates whole chapters about the sanctuary service. Jesus, and he specifically says Jesus is now our high priest, interceding for us in front of the Father. Well, if you know the role of the high priest, it stops. Probation closes, the book of life shuts, and it's going to be a regular day just like today. It's not going to be fireworks. Probation is going to close before all of these natural disasters. Stop believing that these directors in Hollywood are telling you the truth about Bible prophecy. It hurts me and burdens my soul when I hear people say, oh yeah, I understand that prophecy. I saw it in a movie. You are not going to get the truth about God's word from a movie. And in the movies, they tell you that after all these natural big disasters in the world is almost down to just 20 people, then probation closes in the book of life. And then Jesus, no. Beloved, it isn't when Jesus returns that the righteous are saved. The righteous and judgment is determined when the book of life closes days before. That is why Jesus says, as it was in the days of Noah. Understand this. This is not taught too much about Noah's day. The door of the ark was shut 7 days before the flood actually came. So those people didn't die when the water started to fall. They died the first day when the ark was shut 7 days before that. And it was a regular day. And you know they clowned Noah. They said, oh, look at him in that ark with those smelly animals. Oh, and he can't even get out, the door shut. And you know that was the first day. Then the second day it got even worse. He said it will rain. And he's in there with him and his family with those smelly animals. They stinking. You know they clown Noah, Noah. You know they were mockers and justice and they laughing. Third day, same thing. Fourth day, there's a multitude. They partying around the ark, laughing. Noah, you foolish. I told him he was stupid. I told him he was stupid. Come on, man, let's go to the game. Come on, man, let's get back on that Call of Duty. Come on, I told you we're going to the bar. They opened up this new club downtown. It's for the youth. You know, they got the little Nicki Minaj concert down here. We're going. They did all of this, and then on the 7th day, a drop of rain hit them in the head. There was silence. And they ran and started banging on the door of the ark. But they could not open it. Death was not determined by the rain falling. It was determined when the door was shut. And beloved, when Jesus leaves the holy place, the most holy place, when he walks out of the most holy place as our high priest, the door is shut and probation is done. And the Lord knew, I'm telling y'all, when he warned me and told me to warn others, the judgment has left the dead. It is now no longer with the dead. And the way I was kind of in my head like, because I be thinking I'm crazy sometimes. I say, nah, Josh, what if that ain't you, Lord? I don't want to be no false, say the Lord told me something and it's not true. And I say, Lord, I don't know, Lord. Judgment has passed from the dead to the living. Okay, you know. And I kind of hesitated, and that was the main reason why I just went to sleep. I really didn't make the video. I really didn't want people that judgment has went from the dead to the living, and so I didn't make the video. I went to sleep, and God woke me up in a mighty way, beloved, and saying, Joshua, do as I told you to, or you will perish also. And that's how I know that was the confirmation that it was the Lord. It was the Lord. It was God, y'all. He told me to warn you. We can all look back upon the warnings from Elijah, from Isaiah, from Jeremiah, from Noah, and say, how did those people not listen? How did those people not listen? Beloved, they were too busy being entertained. Because I don't come with a fancy suit, a big car. I don't have a big thriving ministry. My YouTube page doesn't have 100,000 subscribers and things of that nature. Because they didn't come like that. People didn't see them. They believe men who'll tell you, you know, Jesus came to do away with the law and have 20-something million views in a week. You know, they believe those are the children of God. That's who they believe was the children of God. But when they were banging on that door, the same person was right next to them, and it made their cries even worse. For the people they listened to were right there next to them with the water hitting them, coming up to their ankle, their knee, their thigh. But it was too late. Their destiny had been determined 7 days before when the door was shut. I plead with y'all, beloved. after the wake-up call I just got. And I thank him. I thank him. I thank him for it. I know what I'm speaking is now truth. And he knew I would know it. Beloved, be not foolish. Like I always say, the truth loves investigation. Try me. Try me if I'm lying. Study the role of the high priest. Look up what Ellen White says. If you're an Adventist, look up what Ellen White says about probation closing. For God let me know in a strong, mighty way. Probation, the dead have been judged. His judgment is now on the living, and those who are alive. And as we know, that means we have even a shorter time than I even realized myself. And again, once Jesus, like she stated, once Jesus leaves the sanctuary, the most holy place, and is not interceding for man, that's when that witch has can pour that dark cloud among the people. And in my vision, remember, it was the people, the little multitude of people trying to get into the sanctuary. For it's those who are already in the sanctuary who are safe. In Matthew 24, Jesus said, and when you shall see the abomination of desolation, stand in the holy place. He was saying stand in the sanctuary. Beloved, time is short. Do not play around. Let go and give it to God. It's only a win-win situation. Let go. Give it to God. We know what pet sins we have. I know what I have to let go and lay on the altar. Come with me. Come with me. And if you think I'm foolish or stupid, investigate me first. Learn the role of the high priest. Read Hebrews, I believe it's either 8 or 9, where Paul has dedicated whole chapters talking about Jesus being our high priest. Probation is about to close, y'all. The door of the ark is about to shut. May God have mercy upon us all.